Okay, so in this mini training, we're going to be diving into optimizing your nutrition around your workout time. So whether you're someone that trains in the morning or in the evening, then this training is going to be super beneficial for you to know exactly what you need to be consuming and what sort of times and the food choices when it comes down to understanding what you want to be eating around your workout times. So on today's call, we're going to be covering a few things. So optimizing, like I said, your nutrition to your workout routine, whether that is in the morning, knowing exactly what you need to be eating before, during, and post workout for you guys, that whether you're having your own business or you work for a corporation, you're going to need to know what exactly you want to be eating around these specific times with your workouts. Now, it's going to be super important as well that we dive into nutrition and why it matters for your workouts to get the most out of each session. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about the choices when it comes down to knowing the exact things to be eating around these times and what sort of times that you're going to be eating when you work out as well. So let's dive into it. So just a bit of a background why nutrition matters for your workouts, guys. If we think in terms of what we put in, we get out, it's a real basic concept, but it's also a concept around not just what you're doing on a day to day, but also in terms of what you're going to get the most out of with your workouts as well. So ensuring that you've got the right tools in place with your nutrition, having the right nutritional factors in place, is not going to help you boost your energy, but it's also going to help with your performance in your workouts, and it's going to massively help promote muscle growth as well. So this is going to make a difference in and outside of your sessions, but it's going to be super important that when you're in your workout, especially if you're only training 3 to 4 times a week, we maximize on every single session. And that is going to be huge. We want to maximize the results within each workout. We don't want to be feeling tired. We don't want to be feeling fatigued. And we don't want to feel with the risk of any injury as well. Because if we're feeling energized, we're fueling right, that's going to really reduce the chances of fatigue and the risk of injury as well. Okay, so let's dive into a little bit further. So when we talk about nutrients for your workouts, when I say nutrients, I'm referring to specific things we're consuming, whether it's food, whether it's supplements, whether it is fluids. We need to know what sort of things we're going to be looking for. So these are some basic things that we can dive into a little bit more in a second, but just to give you a bird's eye view, before we train, before we head into the gym, we want to be consuming carbs for energy and a moderate amount of protein for muscle support. Okay, think of energy being what you're getting from a specific nutrient, whether it is in the form of, like I said, fluid through hydration, or even nutrition through having soluble food. So carbs for energy. We want to make sure that we optimize our energy levels throughout these sessions, and having a good amount of energy in there through the forms of carbohydrates is going to be super, super important so that we can actually push with these sessions. Okay. Now, this is going to be dependent as well on if you're in a bulk, so a build phase, or a cut, whether that be in a shred phase. So really, if you have more food to expend in that you've got more food within your arsenal, let's say your calories are 3,000 plus, and you're struggling to get in those extra calories, then I would start thinking about having something before you work out, a bigger meal in the terms of carbohydrates and protein to ensure that you push these workouts. Again, if you're on a bit of a cut phase and your calories are a little bit lower, then you don't necessarily need to worry about having something substantial before you train. Okay, and I'll talk a little bit more about the examples in just a second. But during your workouts, again, the biggest thing with your workouts, guys, you need to stay hydrated. You need to make sure you're getting enough fluids in, replenishing the salts that you're losing and the electrolytes you're losing through sweating, breathing in your sessions. Okay, if you're pushing each workout that you're doing, guys, which you should be, you're going to be losing a lot of fluid. So we need to make sure your workout intensity is sustained throughout that session. And that's why even considering something like a carb powder or an electrolyte powder to boost those longer workouts can really, really help. Okay. Again, I'll talk about some examples as well in just a second. And obviously post-workout, protein is going to be important for muscle repair. Again, getting some carbs as well to restore glycogen stores that we're losing through our session as well. Okay. So when it comes down to timing your nutrition based on when you work out, there's a couple of things to bear in mind. So if you're someone that works out in the morning, we want to focus on fast digesting carbs and protein before your session, and a good amount of protein and carbs after your session as well to balance out our blood sugar levels. If you're someone that works out in the evening, we want a light pre-workout meal with protein and carbs, and a recovery meal which is going to be a little bit bigger, which is going to be high in protein, bit of carbs in there as well, and some fats too. All right. So just to give you a bit of an understanding, here is a really good example of some of the things you could be pushing for when it comes to your pre-workout morning nutrition. And again, guys, this is going to be dependent on if you're in a build phase or if you're in a cut phase, because if you've got less calories, then let's say having, loads of toast and some honey on, that might be a little bit of a waste of calories. But if you do want something before you train and you're on lower calories, then we might want to think about something like some berries and honey or a banana and honey. Not too heavy in the calories department, but you're still going to get a little bit of energy, which is going to keep you pushing forwards in your session. Now, if you have more calories to expend and you're someone that likes to eat a little bit more food, then you could opt for something like some orange juice or some sourdough toast with honey as well. Okay, so it's important to bear in mind when we're having the pre-workout nutrition, if you're training in the morning, we want to make sure we're getting, first of all, fluids in, so plenty of water. And then 30 to 60 minutes before you work out, we want to provide the body with some quick and easy digestible energy for your workout session. So carbohydrates are going to be the go-to source, and then your protein. And then obviously when it comes down to your protein, we want to be thinking easily digestible sources of protein source. So whey protein isolate rather than a whey protein powder itself. Isolate is a more pure form of protein powder, which means it's going to digest a lot faster and it's not going to sit heavy on your stomach. And then another good option for your protein source could be some low-fat Greek yogurt. Okay, really, I would be saying these are the two things to go for. We don't want anything like egg, chicken. Can be a little bit stodgy, a little bit heavy on the stomach. Again, we want to keep our digestion optimal for your session. So again, you could have, if you wanted to, you could have something like a banana with honey. That's more than enough. If you wanted some sourdough toast with honey, that's absolutely fine. If you've got a little bit longer, if you've got an hour before you train, then you could opt for something like a banana with honey, and then on the side, a whey protein shake mixed with some water, very easy digestible. Or you could have some berries and honey with some Greek yogurt. Again, the closer you are to your workout time, the smaller the meal wants to be. The longer you have between your meal and your workout, you can have a little bit of a bigger option with your food choices. Okay. Fat options. We don't want to be consuming a high amount of fat because fats can slow down your digestion as well. We want to make sure, guys, remember, provide quick and easily digestible energy sources for your workout. So things that are going to slow down at high fat options, we want to really minimize that. Okay. So we want to be going carbs, protein, that's your best source. Now, another thing that a lot of people miss out on fluids, okay, because when we're waking up in the morning, we are naturally dehydrated. We're losing a lot of fluids through sweating, through breathing, and that can impact your body's ability to actually stay hydrated throughout the night. So we want to make sure as soon as we're waking up, we're getting those fluids in. So I would really be opting for, your fluid intake during your session or before your session. First thing in the morning, anyway, you should be consuming plenty of fluids, whether it's an electrolyte powder or some water. Again, really, really good. I would add in some water with some salt, some Himalayan salt, just to restore your sodium levels as well, which is going to be super important. Okay. And then again, optional, if you've got more calories, then I would opt for having something like some coconut water whilst you train. You can get it from the supermarket. You can drink that for your workout. It's going to give you salts, potassium, which is going to keep you hydrated for your session. If you've not got the calories and you wanted some, something a little bit nice anyway during your session, this is something I recommend taking anyway, electrolytes, because that can help you with hydration. And if you're not sure on what brand to use, then obviously let me know and I can give you some ideas as well. Okay. Again, as mentioned here, this is going to be optional, but if you've got more calories, it could actually really help you anyway. Okay. So again, during your workout session, you could sip some cyclic dextrin. Now, cyclic dextrin is just a very, very simple form of carbohydrate powder. A lot of athletes use it as well if you're doing, longer training sessions like marathon sessions, whether you're doing, an hour and a half sessions, or if you need a little bit more energy and your calories are higher, then you could opt for something like a cyclic dextrin powder. Very easily accessible to buy from Amazon, very cheap. You can get flavored ones, plain ones, just add it with water, and that will give you a good hit of carbohydrates going into your session. Okay. Now, coconut water, again, another good option would be to be making sure you're getting enough fluids through coconut water, because again, a really simple way of rehydrating the body is making sure we're getting in the necessary nutrients through things like electrolytes or having a form of coconut water is another option as well. Okay. Now, post-workout nutrition. Again, if you're someone that works out in the morning, 60 minutes, between 30 to 60 minutes after you've trained is going to be a really, really good choice. The goal with this is to replenish your glycogen stores, restore blood sugar levels back to normal levels, and repair your muscles with protein, fats, and carbohydrates as well. So you'll notice now the fat options, I'll put some options in here as well. We want to make sure that, again, the main goal with this is protein, then your carbs, and then your fats. So in that order, protein is going to repair your muscles, carbohydrates is going to replenish your glycogen stores. So anything we've lost throughout the workout, you're getting that back in, and then your fats is going to help you to balance your blood sugars as well. So that will just help to slow the digestion down a little bit as well. Okay. And then obviously your fluids, super important. Don't neglect this. Okay. Don't, go straight having coffee after you've trained. Coffee can dehydrate. You want to make sure we're optimal in the recovery process, but also ensure we're getting the fluids in as well. So electrolytes, coconut water, or 500 ml of water with a pinch of Himalayan salt. Okay. So here's some options. Again, if you've got any questions on these, just let me know. And then we'll talk a little bit now about pre-workout evening nutrition. Again, so this is the other side now. If you're someone that trains in the evenings, which for some of you guys you will be, then you're going to need to know what to eat and when to eat before your session. So 30 to 60 minutes before your workout, we want a steady energy level and an energy source that's going to provide you with the right amount of nutrients without you feeling overly heavy, guys. Like, you don't want to be going into your evening session, needing to run to the toilet, throwing up, belching, excessive gas. We want to make sure that, again, we've got a sustained level of energy throughout your workout session. You're not feeling heavy, but it's going to give you the energy you need. Okay, so again, carb options. As you'll notice, carb first, protein, and then fats. Again, we don't want to be consuming a high amount of fat. We want to be making sure we've got carbs and a steady source of protein, which is going to keep us going into that session. Now, if you've only got 30 minutes, like we did with the morning workout routine, opt for something like some bananas with some honey. Again, berries and honey, cream of rice if you've got a little bit longer, and then the session is going to be a little bit more intense. And then generally, something like sourdough bread with honey could be a better option if you've got, say, an hour between that and you training. If you want something a little bit more, you could add banana again with some whey protein and some yogurt. Let's say an hour before you train, you're going to get a steady source of carbs and protein, and it's going to help you to stabilize your blood sugar levels as you go into that training session. Okay. Again, fluid options, keeping it really simple, like we did on the last slide. Electrolytes in the form of a powder, or using coconut water, which just have a small amount of potassium in there as well, which is going to help you stay fueled throughout your workout. And then obviously during your workout session, again, if you want more calories, you could opt for a carb powder or coconut water. But again, I would say with the dextrin or the coconut water, if you've got more calories and you're struggling to hit your calories, then you could opt for adding these in as another choice. Okay. Now, post-workout options, again, really, really simple. Replenishing glycogen, restoring the blood sugar levels, and repairing the muscles of protein, fats, and carbs. So very, very simple to your post-workout options if you're training in the morning, okay? Carbs, proteins, fats, okay? First thing with your post-workout, you think, as soon as you've trained, you're going into recovery mode. So you want to make sure that your body's recovering and you're getting the right amount of protein to ensure that you are recovering and replenishing your muscles through protein. You want to replenish your glycogen stores through your carbohydrates, so bring your blood sugars back down to normal levels, and the fats will help with that as well, and to stabilize your digestion too. Okay, now these are just some options. These are, I would say, the go-to options as well, because we want to keep things really simple. You don't want things that are going to cause issues with digestion. Protein options like chicken and fish are generally very sound choices. Again, a protein whey isolate, again, another sound choice. Your fat options as well, really good choices. Again, this is proper food, guys. I want you to really think about nutrition as fuel, eating proper food, not, fake food, food that you can easily get that's not going to give you the nutrients you need. You want proper food that's going to fuel your body, okay? Now, just some general guidelines for timing your meals. Again, this is run through, obviously, in the previous slides. So always think 30 minutes before your workout, quick energy. We want easily digestible carbs like a banana or a smoothie. Avoid heavy fats or fiber before you work out. We don't want to slow digestion down. We want to make sure you're getting in some good nutrients an hour before you work out. If you work out at night, this is, I would say, more applicable. Combine some proteins with carbs like sourdough bread and honey and Greek yogurt with fruit to fuel your body for those longer sessions. Okay, again, if you've got more calories to play with, then I would definitely opt for some food as well in the morning if you're a morning workout person. Post-workout, again, protein, carbs, a little bit of fat to ensure your muscles are recovering. You could consider a protein shake if you're short on time, or a meal, again, if you've got a bit more time to prep. Simple timings that you can follow. So if you're a morning workout guy, 5:30, you're waking up, you're getting a pre-workout snack in. So for example, banana and honey, you're going to go and train at 6, and your post-workout breakfast could be eggs with spinach avocado as well. If you're working out in the evening, again, 5:30 tends to be the time a lot of people finish. You can adjust this to suit you, but you can use a general timeline to help you as well. Pre-workout snacks, say yogurt, berries, and honey, even though I spelled yogurt wrong. 7:30, post-workout dinners after you've trained, some salmon, potatoes, and veggies, and then in the evening at 9 p.m, like a recovery snack, nothing too heavy, like protein shake with some dark chocolate, a little bit of sweet craving satisfaction as well there to really keep you taking it over as well. So you've got that real nice balance as well, guys. Okay. Now, final thing, some real essential tips for when you are on a super busy schedule. Now, I honestly cannot stress this enough to you guys as well, because I know a lot of you are running a tight ship, whether you've got your own business, whether you are, working for someone else, corporation. It's going to be super essential that you prep. Okay. Having things in place so that you are not guessing is going to be the difference between you seeing the results you want and not. Okay. Planning ahead the night before, the day before, a couple of days before, especially if you're away for work or if you've got a busy week lined up, is going to be massive. Prepping meals or snacks in bulk. I always say, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Okay. If you're not prepping, then how do you expect to get to where you want to be? Okay. Like with anything, like with business, if you've got certain goals you want to hit, milestones, you need to make sure you've got the prep work in place. You can't turn up and guess it. You've got to be super organized. Simple options, really easy options you can keep in the car. Protein shakes, bars. You can literally go out to Costco or your nearest supermarket, buy 2-liter bottles of water, keep them in your boot. Have a tub of protein whether you just keep in your boot. You could, again, buy some protein bars like Grenade bars or Bear Bell bars. Things like that you can buy in bulk, keep them in the boot. So you know that if you're on the road, you've got easy, accessible options which are going to still keep you on track. And guys, it's not difficult. It's simple, okay? Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Watch this back as much as you need to. Have things on tap. Easy to cook meals. When you're on the go, you could buy some meals out, but make sure that they're going to give you the nutrients you need. I always say the best thing you can do is prep meals, but if you can't, look, protein shakes, bars. So that's going to keep you on track. It's going to be super important. Hydration again, having water, electrolytes, coconut water before you train, during your training, and then after your workouts to stay super hydrated. Because look, it's great eating good food, but if you're not hydrated and you're just loaded up with stimulants like caffeine or energy drinks, it's not going to do anything for you. So hydration is super important. We'll be looking at around about 3.5 to 4 liters every single day as a non-negotiable, because that is going to keep you optimized and living as your best self. Okay. And guys, that is the end of the presentation. If you've got any questions after this, feel free to reach out and we'll go from there.